Homer Simpson can survive anything. Car crashes, nuclear accidents, getting launched into space. He bounces back before the next scene. But there's one thing that actually destroys him, not radiation, not physical pain, love. Today we're looking at the episodes where love shatters Homer, where the jokes pause long enough for us to see the fragile, scared, overwhelmingly devoted man underneath, and what those moments reveal about who Homer really is. Let's start with the bowling ball that almost broke him. Early in the series, in Life on the Fast Lane, Homer buys Marge a bowling ball drilled for his own fingers. Selfish, clueless, classic Homer. But when Marge actually uses it, it becomes something much bigger. At the alley, she meets Jacques, a smooth French instructor, and suddenly, Homer's bad gift becomes a threat. At first, Homer is only mildly uneasy about Marge's new hobby. But when he finds her custom bowling glove, her name, her hobby, and maybe her new guy, and then something in him deflates. At work, he opens the lunch she packed but can't eat it. It's suddenly not food. It's a symbol of a love he fears he's losing. This isn't goofy Homer. This is a man watching his marriage slip away and knowing it's his fault. Under all the laziness and screw-ups, Homer is terrified of losing Marge. When love is threatened, he doesn't rage, he collapses inward. Marge ultimately chooses Homer at the crossroads, literally, and his relief overwhelms him. He doesn't realize how close he came to losing her. But we do. And that's where the heartbreak lives, in Secrets of a Successful Marriage. Love doesn't just wobble. It breaks. Homer teaches a class called Secrets of a Successful Marriage, and, desperate for laughs, begins sharing private details about Marge. When she finds out, she doesn't quietly forgive him. She kicks him out. Suddenly, Homer is living in Bart's treehouse, grappling with the reality that Marge's love isn't guaranteed. His home, his marriage, his sense of self, gone. He tries every shortcut. Dramatic apologies, self-humiliation, desperate promises. The most painful moment comes when he admits he feels worthless without her. For a character built on ego and denial, this is almost existential terror. For Homer, Marge's love isn't optional, it's foundational. Without it, he loses his identity. Marge lets him back not because he grovels, but because he finally drops the clown mask and tells the truth. Love breaks him, and that brokenness is exactly what convinces her he's still worth choosing. In A Millhouse Divided, Homer isn't the one whose marriage falls apart, but he might as well be. At a dinner party, Kirk and Luann Van Houten implode spectacularly, ending their marriage in front of everyone watching. Kirk move out, awkward, confused, vaguely Homer-like, makes a horrifying equation click. If it can happen to him, it can happen to me. Homer spirals. He gets clingy. He tries too hard. He forces romance in ways both funny and painfully sad. Beneath the gags is genuine fear. In a panic, he secretly divorces Marge so he can surprise remarry her. A sweet idea delivered via Homer logic chaos. Homer knows he's not easy to love, so when he sees a similar couple fail, he assumes he's next, and that he'll be the cause. The remarriage works not because it's romantic, but because Marge sees what's beneath it. Homer isn't taking her for granted, he's terrified of losing her. That 90s show reveals a raw, painful chapter in Homer and Marge's early relationship. They're young and broke, but in love, Homer works a humiliating job to pay Marge's college tuition. He supports her dream until a charming professor convinces her that Homer is holding her back. Marge leaves him. The breakup is messy, emotional, and painful. Alone and heartbroken, Homer pours his pain into grunge music, forming a band. His sweetness curdles into loud bitterness and self-loathing. When love breaks Homer, he doesn't just hurt, he changes. The optimism disappears, the goofiness fades. He becomes someone darker and wounded. Eventually, when Marge realizes the professor was wrong and returns to Homer, the crack remains Homer is always a little amazed Marge stayed, because in another timeline, she didn't. In The Way We Weren't, we see Homer's earliest heartbreak and discover Marge was part of it long before they met. Officially, teen Homer shares a sweet, awkward first kiss with a girl at summer camp. They plan to meet again, but on the way, Homer slips, falls into a river, and gets swept to a fat camp where he's stuck and can't return. He tries to escape, but fails. Marge waits, calls, is told the boy doesn't exist, and her heart hardens. When Homer arrives at the meeting spot, she's gone. Only the cracked stone heart he gave her remains. The adult twist is brutal. If I'd known that boy was you, Marge says, I never would have married you. Homer laughs, because if he doesn't, he'll break. Homer has carried heartbreak far longer than anyone realized. He kept his half of the stone heart for decades. His silliness hides a man who never fully healed from his first emotional abandonment. Marge kept her half too, but as a warning to herself. Painful, romantic, and deeply human. In Lisa's wedding, Homer's most profound heartbreaks often come from fatherhood. A fortune teller shows Lisa's future. She's brilliant, grown, and engaged to a refined British man, Hugh. Lisa loves Homer but fears he'll embarrass her. Homer tries everything to fit in: new clothes, new manners, new behavior. But Hugh mocks him, and Lisa doesn't defend him quickly enough. The worst blow comes when Hugh wants a British-only wedding, essentially excluding Homer. Meanwhile, Homer finds pig-shaped cufflinks for Lisa, wanting to give her a piece of home, not to guilt her, but to bless her new life. Lisa calls off the wedding. Homer doesn't say, I told you so. He simply says, I like him less than ever, and hugs her. Homer's biggest fear as a dad isn't that his kids will disappoint him. It's that they'll grow away from him, leaving him behind. Back in the present, Lisa hugs him harder, grateful she didn't choose the future where she lost him. In Mother Simpson, love doesn't almost leave, it truly does. After Homer fakes his own death, authorities discover his long-absent mother, Mona Simpson, is still alive. She returns, and Homer finally gets what he'd been missing: a mom. Their reunion is tender. She tucks him in, and he melts into childlike contentment. But Mona is still a fugitive. She must flee, not later. Now her goodbye is quiet. She drives off, and Homer climbs onto her car, watching her disappear. As the music swells and credits roll, he lies on the hood and stares at the stars. No jokes, no twist, just pure, silent heartbreak. Homer clings so fiercely to Marge and the kids because he fears abandonment. His mother leaving him again echoes every moment he's afraid love will walk away. That final silent shot says everything he never says out loud. Across these episodes, a pattern emerges. When Marge might cheat, he breaks. When she kicks him out, he breaks. When someone else divorces, he sees himself in it and breaks. When Marge leaves for someone better, he breaks into bitterness. When he realizes he hurt Marge decades earlier, he breaks with guilt. When Lisa's future pulls her away, he breaks with fear. When his mother appears and vanishes, he breaks into grief. The thread connecting it all? Homer isn't emotionally oblivious, he's overly emotional. He loves so intensely and clumsily that even small tremors in those relationships feel catastrophic. Love defines him. And when it wobbles, he cracks open and shows the frightened, devoted heart beneath the jokes. We started with the idea that Homer can survive anything except love. But here's the twist. Love may break him, but he keeps choosing it. He stays with Marge even when he fears he doesn't deserve her. He tries to be a good dad even when he feels inadequate. He lets his mother back into his life even after she broke his heart once. Every time love wounds Homer, it also reveals his best trait. He never decides it's safer not to care. He never shuts down. He breaks, and he keeps loving anyway. That's the real secret of Homer Simpson.